Hello, and welcome once again to the Dental Marketing Mastery Series. This podcast is brought to you by dentalwebcontent.com and New Patients Incorporated. I'm Howie Horrocks, the founder of New Patients Incorporated. Along with me once again is my friend and partner and the president of New Patients Incorporated, Mark Dilatush. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome once again to our wonderful podcast. We sure are glad that we have the audience we have, and we have a special guest today, don't we, Mark?
We do. And before we go applauding the audience, I should ask the audience to go tell at least one of your friends where you hear these podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
And then we will spread like a virus through dentistry. Right? Is that good? Is that a good image? No, I guess not. It's a bad
no, that's okay though. Yeah. We'll spread.
All right.
Anyway.
So yeah, we have a real departure from our normal is instructional. Our normal podcast is teaching you why things work, why things don't work, why the consumer acts this way, why they don't act that way. And this is it's both a diversion from that normal course material, but it's also a culmination of the course material in a dentist that actually is living the dream. And we wanted to share his story with all the podcast listeners. His name is Dr. Kent Smith. Kent, would you say hello to everyone, please?
Hello, everyone. It's good to be here, Mark.
Thanks for being here, Kent. Kent's got a pretty amazing story. We thought we'd share it with you. Mark just mentioned he's living the dream. What was the dream, Kent? Tell us about that.
Well, the dream was I always heard that you could limit your practice and do the things you like to do, but very few people were doing it. And I just thought, if it's really possible, I'm going to give it a shot, because there's a lot of things in dentistry I didn't like doing, and there's some things I really love doing. So I thought I'm going to do my best to get that to happen, and it's been a great story.
Yeah, no kidding. So I guess we could call it the journey away from the handpiece. Is that?
Yeah, that works. Sure.
The journey away from the handpiece. Out of all the I've been in dentistry for 8 years, I guess, 7 years. And I can probably fit on one hand the number of dentists that I know and have worked with that I could say to myself, this guy probably should have gone back to medical school. And you're one of them.
Sometimes it seems like I should have, because of the fields I'm in, and
yeah.
Think, gosh, in fact, every so often I'll even still consider it, and I'm
right.
I would be matriculating. I would not be among the youngest in medical school, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
No.
No, the reason I say that is because, everybody gets their juice in life from different things, and you get yours from helping and or saving people, and I always associated that with straight up medicine. But as a dentist, you can do that too, and I'm not trying to steal your story. I'm just telling you from my perspective, that's how you appear to us as professionals.
Yeah, well, my elevator speech, when people ask me what I do, I say, I save lives and marriages. And then I just shut up and let them ask the question.
That's good. That's really good. I like that. So what we're referring to here for the audience, let's let them in on this, is that Ken is involved with treating sleep apnea. Is that right, Ken?
That's right. Snoring and sleep apnea, but it's one field. Snoring leads to sleep apnea. So, yeah.
And that living the dream part, go back to when you and your partner started. This is probably, I think we met, about 12 years ago, 13 years ago now, probably somewhere in there.
Yeah, my partner joined me 18 years ago, but I'm assuming it was quite a few years after that we met and started working together.
It was
Right,
2000,
right.
2006, actually.
Is that what it was? Okay,
Yep.
right. And then, because you guys needed, I guess, a plan to grow the practice. And your practice is in what town? Just for reference for our listeners.
We're in the Dallas, Texas area. I do have a satellite sleep practice that is in Frisco, Texas, but the basic practice, we just moved last year and doubled the size, and we've got 21 operatories now, but it's all in Irving, Texas.
Okay. So, the goal back then in '06 was grow, right?
Right. Yep.
And at that point, it was more, the focus was basically the top half of the dental market surrounding the practice. We weren't real particular with who we.
We just wanted bodies in the seats.
Right. Get the phones to ring, man. Get the phones to ring. Right. And then I remember you guys came out to Vegas. I think you were doing an FIV shoot, a first impression video shoot.
Yep.
And we sat in, I think it was after your first year, and I think we sat in Howie's office or something, and your partner said, we want this much growth next year. And I said, well, you're already going to grow that much next year. And he looked at me kind of cross-eyed, and I said, you're going to grow that much next year. And he didn't really believe me, but I remember that story. And then we pretty much kept on going with the general family. Now there's a reason I'm focusing on this, because remember, for all the listeners, Kent is chasing a dream. Well, were you chasing that dream back then? Was that even something you were considering trying to get to in 2006?
No, I wasn't thinking at that time, I will be limiting my practice in X number of years, but it was my favorite thing to do.
Okay.
And so, yeah, if someone had told me at that moment, hey, you know what, you really don't have to do all this stuff, then I might have started that journey right then. But all I wanted to do was grow the practice with my partner, because he had joined me and we'd sort of leveled off, and we needed some help. And that's when we contacted you guys.
Okay. So it grew. And then when we were always preaching in '06, '07, '08, after the recession, all the way up until about last year, family market. Stay the hell away from the niches.
Right. Yeah, so, you were burning my dream down right then.
I know, but we knew the secret sauce, or one of the secret sauces is, all those fun things, those fun cases actually come from the top half of the family market. In other words, it's not something that you get because you ask for it. It's something that you get by asking for something else, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then you started seeing some of those, and you don't just specialize in sleep apnea treatment. You do short-term ortho, right?
Right. I do some 6-month smiles and some Invisalign, and I still love doing those things too, because they transform people. And
right.
Yeah, I still know handpiece.
Oh, okay. So tell the audience, make all of our doctors listening to this salivate. When was the last time you actually touched a handpiece to a patient?
Oh, my wife made me do a crown on her 3 years ago.
Oh, gee. Okay.
And it was awful.
Right. It was awful. Right.
Yeah. And it really took some work to figure out. I didn't know where anything was. Right. So so before that, it was probably 3 years before that.
Okay. All right. So we pounded on the local top half of the family market. It generated enough, and there was enough interest, again, on to your credit and to the credit of your team. It's never a one-way street. I mean, everything has to work together. And, to your credit, you started finding these patients, diagnosing these patients, or with the help of sleep dentists, right? You slowly went out into your local market and worked with some MDs and some sleep dentists too, right?
Yeah. Mainly in my own market, it would be sleep MDs, not sleep dentists. I mean,
I'm sorry. That's right. Sleep MDs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because obviously the tipping point maybe not so obviously, but the tipping point in sleep medicine, dental sleep medicine, is to have so many physician referrals that you don't need to market at all.
Right. We call those the gatekeepers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's what orthodontists call GPs.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
And orthodontists send letters to GPs to let them know what they're doing.
Exactly.
Dentists don't know how to send letters, so I had to learn that because I'm working with the medical community.
Okay. So, and there's this whole other side of sleep dentistry from the billing aspect, right? So didn't you have to learn some medical billing as well?
Oh yeah. In fact, when I teach my courses on this, I tell them at the outset that that's the biggest struggle they will have is figuring out that medical billing aspect.
Do you used to teach your own courses through like your own company? Is it through a different firm? Like, how does that work?
No, it's just my own. I teach them out of the Dallas area, and it's something I put together. I started that 10 or 12 years ago, and honestly, that's another reason that I just kept growing that part of the practice, because as you can imagine, the more you teach something, the more you have to study it and learn it and practice it.
Right, of course.
So it just became just secondary to the teaching, the fact that I just focused more and more on sleep,
right,
reading as much as I could, and then I started teaching for 6 Month Smiles. That was also about 10, 11 years ago, and I've been doing that ever since. Okay,
so if a doctor wanted to learn about, how to integrate sleep to the treatment of sleep apnea into their practice, that's something they would go through you for?
They could, yeah. There are quite a few good courses around the United States, but I've been doing it a long time, and I think one of the differences in my seminars is I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm just trying to educate the dentist and prepare them to get patients screened and treated. And I tell them my experience and how I used to have a general dental practice, and eventually I was able to transform it into a sleep and ortho practice.
Right.
And it's not for everyone, but some, especially those dentists that are looking at retirement someday, it's the perfect retirement vehicle, because I could do this until I'm 90 years old with one leg and one eye.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, I could just sit there and talk to patients all day. That's pretty much all I do.
Right.
That's a good point, Kent. You don't have to, have that dentist neck anymore, or the dentist back, or all of the other maladies that.
My neck and back pain went away completely when I stopped doing restorative.
That's great.
Right.
I mean, that's seriously, it did.
Yeah, I believe it. You know what? We're going to take a short break here, then we're going to come back and talk to you a little bit more, if you wouldn't mind, Kent.
That sounds good.
All right. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. We hope you're enjoying our podcast. Let me ask you, do you have a roadmap for your marketing? Why not let New Patients Incorporated do it for you? Our marketing plans have been proven effective for over 27 years for hundreds of practices across lots of different countries. We will give you the marketing data for your area, a marketing budget. We'll show you how to allocate your budget, and then we will show you the proper deployment strategies for each medium. Click on the header where it says Complimentary Marketing Plan when you go to www.newpatientsincorporated. All right, we are back. We have Dr. Kent Smith from Irving, Texas here with us, and we're talking about how he reached dental nirvana, right?
Yeah.
And maybe not for everybody. A lot of people love doing 30, 40 different procedures. That's just not me.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's that. Yeah, it's to each his own. But to be honest with you, one of the reasons why we brought you here, Kent, was because we have lots of dentists who are coming to us who are saying, I want to expand the sleep portion of my practice.
Yeah.
So how if a dentist wanted to take a course from you, how would they do that?
Well, they can certainly email me, and I can show them the link, or they can remember the link, 21stcenturysleepseminars.com, or they can just Google my name and sleep seminar, and you'll find it.
Okay. All right. Okay. So Kent Smith Sleep Seminar shouldn't be tough to Google. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So So we get you through 2006 through about probably what, 2010, 2011, 2012, and the short-term ortho started to kick a little bit, and then the sleep started to kick a little bit. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's very accurate. I get my years confused, but that's probably about right. Yeah, where the numbers started climbing so much that I thought, but honestly, it couldn't have happened except that, we were doubling the number of new patients we were seeing per month. And when you start doing that, you can certainly cull out those that would fit your niche better.
Oh,
and when I was able to do that and get more experience treating those kinds of patients, then I just felt more confident. And then that built on referrals from both the patients I had treated, but also the more I treated patients, the more the sleep physicians and other physicians learned about what I was doing. And then they started referring me patients, and it just sort of grew from there.
Sort of snowball. Right.
Yeah.
I think it's a really important point for everybody to hear that at no particular time did we ever promote Kent's practice, either the general practice or the sleep or the short-term ortho side of his practice, based on a deal.
Right.
We're talking about a 12-year, almost a 12 or 11-year journey.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And at no point did we cheapen or lessen the perception of the dentistry that office provides. Okay. And I think that's important for people to hear, because I don't think you could have gotten there if you had a bunch of shoppers coming in. I think you would have kissed too many frogs. I think your opportunity cost would have been way too high. I think it would have blown out your hygiene schedule for sure. And I think either it wouldn't have happened or it would have taken probably another dozen years to happen.
Yeah, I think so. I haven't sat back and really considered all that, but that does make sense. I think it would have delayed it significantly.
Yeah, I think people have to have a certain value point for healthcare in general in order for that to start to build and take off. And then, of course, to your credit, you just started to run with it. So, and then I remember, I think it was 2011, 2012, maybe 2013, we came out with a couple of senior mailers, and we just started to do stuff for you on your side of the practice. I remember doing that.
Yep.
And then there was another I think there was 2 or 3 in a series there. And I think we also did a short-term ortho, although I don't think that in and of itself was very successful. I think the senior mailer was more successful. I think we probably did that for 3 or 4 years, didn't we? Something like that.
Yeah, and I don't remember when I knew that I was going to be doing this with you guys tonight, I realized that tomorrow there's this professional pitcher, major league pitcher that's coming back in. And I remembered that, and I think I even told you this story. It's he came in from one of those mailers 4 miles. Right. And I thought at the time, wow, a professional athlete looks at a mailer to come in. that sort of blew me away, but honestly, and he's still a patient.
Right. Yeah. So, okay.
Did he win the World Series, Kent?
Yeah.
No, we traded him away, but he still lives here.
Oh, okay.
We're not allowed to know. Okay.
No, that's all I can say.
Right. Okay, that's fine. So, all right. So you go through 2011, 2012, and now you got things pretty much because of your own work with your own professional networking, with the sleep MDs, with the other professionals in your local market. You're pretty much referral only now, right?
Yeah, I do some radio.
Okay.
But it's almost all referral now, and I'm trying to get rid of the last bit of radio that I was doing. And I was having to do some radio because I won't go into any detail, but there's a company here that spends $100,000 a month on radio who is my primary competitor in this market.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a sordid story we don't need to get into.
Hey, that'll be a Kent interview part 2.
Yeah.
That's boy.
Anytime you want to unleash us, you just let us know. Send us a check. Just let us know.
Okay.
All right. Well, but at the bottom line is we have GP with a partner, family practice, kind of stagnated, wanted to grow it, which basically turned into kind of, I'm not going to call it cherry picking, Kent, but I'm going to call it you noticed a certain breed of patient and you started to do more of the things that you like to do. And then I think that probably got you to the point where you said, you know what? Hell, I'm halfway there. Why don't I just go all the way there? And I think you guys took the reins the rest of the way. It might have had something to do with us, but I think you guys took the reins the rest of the way, because then you built the seminar series, then that created credibility. You went out to the MD circuit. You started gaining professional referrals. Now, basically, I know I can't call you a specialist because some dental police officer will come knocking on my door. But basically, for the whole intents and purposes, you're more of a specialist than a specialist is.
Yeah, because there's not many. I don't have. You're right. A lot of specialists still do 8 or 10 different things, and I
know.
Yeah,
I know.
Could we call you a 2-trick pony?
Yeah.
I don't again remember this year that it seemed like it was either 2013, it might have been 2012 or 13, where I said, all right, I'm making the decision. I want to go all in.
Right.
And I have, if I do another distal buccal composite on an upper third molar, well, I'm going to go crazy.
Right.
So I set as a goal, I want to say it was like January of 13. I set as a goal by June of 2014. I gave myself 18 months to be all in.
Right.
And so I said, we need to start telling the hygiene patients and start, warning them or whatever, and making up carpal tunnel stories and whatever I need to do.
Right.
And honestly, by 6 months, I was there.
Awesome.
All it took was one revolution of hygiene patients letting them know what I was doing. And at that point, but you have to let your ego go and say,
right.
It's okay that I'm letting the associate see my patients and things like that. It's not for everyone, but it's somewhere I wanted to go.
Right. And we don't even believe it's for the majority, but Howie and I have been around this business long enough to know we've spoken to other dentists who want to be where you've gone or where you are. Not just with sleep either. I mean, there's tons of dentists out there who would love to just, come in for a couple of days a week and focus on implants.
Right. Yeah.
Right? It doesn't have to be sleep. It's just, I think really what this story it's not a story. I mean, it's sort of a chronology of your career. I think what it teaches the audience is, it's possible. I mean, you got to do it right. You got to stay with it. You got to want it. Right? You got to have the right team to your credit. You have to make the right moves and probably spend a lot of money on dinners with MDs.
When dentists ask me what it takes to do this, I tell them, if you are not willing to spend the time
right.
and the effort that you did in initially building your dental practice, then to build a niche practice isn't going to happen. You still have to, it's not just going to happen. You have to put lots of time, energy, and effort into it.
Yep. And it's not and you can't delegate it all to a marketing company. That's another thing we tell people all the time is that, Doc, you can't cut me a check and just say, here you go, and then go golfing. That's not the way it works. Okay.
No, because you have to have trust from the physicians, and I would think it's that way with almost all niche practices, because it's going to be based on referrals from other healthcare practitioners.
Absolutely.
Wow, what a great story, Kent. We want to really thank you for being with us today. We've come to the end of our podcast here, but I'm sure that we have a huge audience out there, and I'm sure there's a portion of that audience that are going to go back and listen to this a couple times and take notes.
And they can say, I can do it.
Yeah.
They can, yes.
So thanks, Kent. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. I really enjoyed it, guys.
All right. And we'll be back next week, and we hope you tune in again. Thanks. We hope you've enjoyed our podcast today. You can find more podcasts on our YouTube channel, on Stitcher, and iTunes. Also on our websites, dentalwebcontent.com and newpatientsinc.com.